Cocainum.
Hello, everyone. I hope you guys are doing well. Happy Friday. I hope you guys are looking forward to the weekend, and I hope you're looking forward to hearing us talk about, well, lots of stuff, including Loki episode 4, the Multiverse, Spider-Man No Way From Home, Tom Holland and Zendaya getting it on. That's something that we're going to be talking about as well, a bit, not much. What else? We got the Bad Batch, Star Wars: The Bad Batch. We got the Tomorrow War, which has come out. I haven't seen it, but my good friend Clint has, and Clint will be joining us in just a second. I just wanted to, before bringing Clint in, I just want to say hello to everyone in the chat. So hello to Sean Harrigan. I hope you're doing very well. He says, here be major plot points. Yes. Well, first off, if you haven't watched Loki episode 4, this is probably not the best thing to be watching right now. So maybe go and watch it and then catch this in the replay, because there will be spoilers. And Reese says, hello there. Hello to you, Reese. And I then got Reese's name wrong. And then he says, do you think we'll get backstories or at least flashbacks for different Loki variants? So yes, Clint and I will get into that in a second. And let's welcome Clint onto the show. How are you doing, Clint?
Hey, how's it going?
I'm very good. I'm very, very good. I'm looking forward to talk about Loki. I'm looking forward to talking about Spider-Man. I'm not so looking forward to talk about Tom Holland and Zendaya, but I suppose we've got to mention that at some point. How are you doing? Yes, you're doing well.
I'm doing great. Like I said, I was watching. How's my audio? Am I loud or crackling or anything?
You're fine. It's a bit crackly. It's
okay.
It's a bit
there's
crackly.
something going on over here. There we go. I'm doing
That's
great,
better.
man. I was just watching Chris Pratt and
Yep.
And then I said, hey, are we doing this live stream thing? Let's do this. So I didn't even finish the movie. I'm most of the way through. So I'm not quite done, but so far it's been a good ride.
Yeah. And given, I mean, that's good, because I haven't heard very good things about that film, I'm going to be honest. But we'll get into that in a bit. I wanted to start off by talking about Loki episode 4, which was released on Wednesday. We're both talking a bit about it afterwards.
Oh, yeah.
What did you think of the episode?
I hold on a second.
And
there
Dan
we go.
says,
there we go. I'm just like shaking things. There we go. All right.
There is some crackling going on. Danzig says, yes, I can hear you, Clem Fandango.
Yeah.
Sorry, I've got to mention this. Kazakh says, does Amber Heard's baby I think it's a he, actually. I think it's a boy. Gets a British accent. Well, you know what? As far as Amber Heard's baby's concerned, what the hell? Like, where did that come out of?
Hey, babies are off limits. You don't get to talk about babies.
I know, but also you don't get to post babies on social media. Come on, guys. Like, seriously, don't post newborn babies on social media. But as far as Amber Heard's concerned, when was she pregnant? that's the question I have with that.
I don't know. She wasn't hiding for a while. Like, you didn't really see her for a long time. If you really think about it, it's like this last year's has flown by. So, I mean, who knows?
Is true. That is true. Amber Heard, friend of the show, of course, friend of the show. Yes. Kazakh says Amazon baby.
Oh no.
Oh no. Right. So yeah, what did you think of Loki?
I loved it, man. It was crazy. It proved my theory wrong of it being the Enchantress, you know, but I'm like, maybe I'm still right and they'll twist something later. I doubt it. But it was fun that they threw in the love thing. They're like, yes, love will change, will cause a crazy event that will screw everything up. I think that's awesome. The after credit scene, man, I'm glad I didn't like rush off and not see the after credit. I wonder how many people missed the after credit scene.
Yeah,
you know,
I think a lot of people did.
Yeah. And it leaves so many questions, you know what I mean? Like, what's going on over there? Where did Owen Wilson? Wow, there's a wow. And, you know, did he wake up on a jet ski somewhere? You know,
Probably.
like, yeah, like, is he in the same place as Loki? Is spoilers? You know, it's like, what's going on? And I went back and I started watching the trailer for next week's episode, just to the little teaser to try and see what else is going on. And, you know, and they showed like a vote for Loki, President Loki guy there. And then they show a bunch of guys that are with knives and that didn't look like Loki's. So that's interesting because that means maybe they're not just Lokis. That was a big wonder. Is this a prison for all Lokis, or is everyone at this place? And who knows? I guess they don't have to have any definite rules, but maybe those weren't Lokis because they didn't look like Lokis. So maybe Owen Wilson,
the people behind him. You mean?
Whenever he's like wearing the vote for thing, there's a whole bunch of knives that go up. Like I pause it and looked at all those people and I go, I don't think those are other Lokis. I think they're just randos. So
I have a theory about that actually.
Oh, what's your theory?
I think that's another variant. I think that's another Loki variant.
Oh, for sure.
Yeah, I don't think that's the same Loki that that we've been following throughout this whole series. I think that's a different one. And I think there's going to be a lot of different versions, and then the 3 that you see at the beginning will be the main ones. So we've got Kid Loki, got Golden Age Loki, played by Richard E. Grant, and then we have what do they call him? They did reveal a name for the kind of the one
Alligator
with the hammer.
Loki?
They got Alligator Loki, yeah, which is
it was in German. On the German credits, it was Boastful Loki.
Boastful Loki.
Yeah,
that's it.
And so that makes you believe it looks like a different version of Mjolnir. It makes you believe maybe that's a Loki that defeated Thor, in another place. And also in that trailer, there was another Loki with the furry cloak with the furry collar with Mjolnir, with Thor's like hammer. You know what I mean?
I think that's Boastful Loki. I think
the hammer looked different. The hammer at the end of the episode, and that hammer looked different. That actually looked like Thor, like the hammer that we know in the.
That could be a variant of Loki that actually became Thor.
Yes, exactly. And I think it's weird, and I might have jumped ahead of myself, speaking ahead of my thinking, but like the first thing I thought was, okay, is this just a place where variant Lokis go? You know what I mean? And maybe they picked a different place for every person. So then you've got like a whole bunch of Mobiuses or somewhere else, and all the they pick different places. It's like a prison, kind of like they threw Loki in that prison where he's getting beat up every 5 minutes, which was hilarious.
Lady Sif, who's back.
Yeah, it was awesome. She's great. I love her. She's great in Blind Spot too.
She's really good.
But yeah, so that was my first thought, and then seeing those other people on that part was a good indicator that maybe there's going to be other people, and maybe we'll see Owen Wilson in with him, or who knows? I mean, there's it's a multiverse, so who knows where they all go?
Well, that's the thing. Yeah, I think really this is the confirmation, to me at least. I put it up in the title that this is the kind of confirmation of the multiverse. The multiverse is kind of a weird, kind of post-apocalyptic kind of it's almost like you know how in the DC Comics world they kind of have the Speed Force, which is a bit like that. It's like kind of an area where they can travel through, and then they can go into different kind of timelines and things like that. I wonder whether that's that, because in the background you've got Stark Tower, which looks all kind of decrepit and it looks like a kind of apocalyptic place. And I think I think Mobius is going to be there as well, because you know what, that moment in the episode when Mobius was pruned, I didn't think I cared about Mobius that much.
Yeah, I was like, no.
I was so upset, and I was just going, you can't kill Owen Wilson. What the hell? And then the moment, I'm sorry, but I just want to talk about the moment when Loki is about to admit that he loves himself. Then he gets pruned himself. So a lot of people, I think that's how the episode ended, which is what you were referring to earlier. But what did you want to say, Clint?
Oh, I was just gonna say that moment that they do that to him. Then I was like, oh. Okay, you know what I mean? Like there's hope, but then for just a split second, I thought maybe this was like, does this mean this is going to be all about Lady Loki now? Because she's a Loki, yeah. They could keep the thing going, and I was like, no, and I don't know, man. It's crazy. Who knows? I have no idea what they're going to do now. So
I mean, I'm pretty sure it's going to be amazing.
Yeah, I'm sure. And there's theories too. There's multiple theories about Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
and then there's other people that are talking about what if this is another Loki who's doing this whole thing, and the show is
Yeah.
called Loki, and it's about Loki and the other Loki, and then the evil Loki that's running the TVA, and this is all. I mean, who knows? Who knows what's going to happen?
That was actually my first thought. My theory was that actually the people that are behind this are or multiple versions of Loki, and because especially that scene when you find out that that the timekeepers are just androids basically, which I was kind of happy with, but also I was like, oh, they're actually going full comic book kind of timekeepers, like really creepy. And then there was that reveal where the head comes off and it's actually an android and they're all androids. um I was thinking, oh, this could. It's like I think there's a whole like Wizard of Oz thing going on in this episode, especially with like the timekeepers being a bit like the Wizard of Oz, and then realizing that actually it's just a robot and it's an illusion and nothing's real. But there is somebody behind this. There has to be, and I was thinking at a time that I think a Loki makes the most sense. It would make sense why they're trying to kind of capture all the Loki variants, because they see themselves as being the most dangerous thing to whatever the hell they're doing, whatever the hell they're planning. I don't think Kang's going to come into it. I don't know. I think Kang's going to be. I think they're going to save Kang for Ant-Man 3, and then maybe have Kang do something else in the MCU and not really be involved in the whole timeline thing. I don't know.
I think I think the Ravonna Renslayer was kind of just kind of a distraction to make us theorize,
Maybe
because she and Kang are connected in the comic books and stuff. So for as soon as she popped up, everyone started getting their theories. It's time, it's Kang. And then again, you've got the up and coming Ant-Man film with Kang. Kang's been confirmed to be in it. So it makes sense. But being that they're trying to keep these TV shows separate, a little bit separate. They're kind of connective tissue, but they're keeping them separate. I think it's kind of like WandaVision. They didn't introduce mutants and do like all these crazy things that they thought they were going to do. They kept it in the WandaVision world, and I think they're going to kind of do that with this. This is a Loki show, and it's about Loki and various Lokis, and it's probably going to be all about Loki. So we'll see.
I think you're right. Yeah. I think you're right there. We've got Dan Zig in the comments saying, do we think Agent Mobius is a variant of Dr. Donald Blake, Thor's alter ego? I think that could be an interesting. I've actually seen people post that online. That could be something that they revealed that actually it was Donald Blake, or a variant of Donald Blake. I don't strictly know why people are saying that, but they're just saying that it makes sense. And again, I'm not that versed with the comic books, so I'm going to be honest. So Donald Blake is a character that I'm vaguely familiar with, and I think they actually called Thor Donald Blake in the original Thor movie. I think there was a reference to Donald Blake in the MCU before now. I think.
I also got a little bit of a theory that I started daydreaming about too. That what if there's another Mobius who's a bad guy, who him and Ravonna have a relationship going, and he's actually the one responsible for all this stuff, and Ravonna Renslayer's in league with him, and then this is like a variant Mobius that we keep seeing, and that's why she's got a soft spot for him, but she just kind of has to keep him in the dark, but she has a soft spot because she loves her Mobius, and I kind of thought that because Mobius is so beloved, that what a great twist to have the villain actually be everyone's favorite sweet nice guy on the show, you know what I mean? But it's not actually him, it's a different version of him.
That would be really interesting.
That's another twist for interesting writing. I think that would be a cool way to do it, but again, who knows what these crazy guys are going to do on this show.
Danzig steps in to help us out. He says, in Thor, Natalie Portman's ex was Donald Blake. Okay, I do remember people saying that Donald Blake was in the MCU before. Reese75 says, Sacred Timeline Morbius is just Owen Wilson.
Mm-hmm.
I think that's a possibility. That'd be really fun. And then who else do we have? Reese75 saying, I think it's a Sorcerer Supreme, since the Ancient One knows about the Sacred Timeline in Endgame. I was thinking that could be a possibility, that there's some sorcerer behind all of this. But I do think you're right about it being kind of keep it in the family, keep it in the Loki family almost. So the writer of the head writer of the show, Michael Waldron, did reveal that he did say that like the whole point of the show was it to be about Loki and almost a love story. It is a love story, so there will be, I think there will be more kind of romantic scenes between Loki and Sylvie, but more kind of him coming to terms with the fact that he can love himself, because I think a lot of what Loki does is kind of done out of almost self-loathing, and I think this is playing with that theme, which I actually think is really interesting. I think that's a really cool way to go for this show. I do have a little surprise for you, Clint. So. You know that this episode, I'm a big fan of Richard E. Grant. I think he's brilliant, and this episode revealed that he is actually going to be playing Golden Age Loki in the next. So he will be in the next episode. He's in episode 5. So before I reveal the surprise, I wanted to remind everybody. Richard E. Grant is somebody that likes to post his reactions to things. So he posted his reactions to Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker, which was this.
I've just seen Star Wars, the Rise of Skywalker, and nothing prepares you for this. I cheered, I shouted, I fist pumped the air, I cried. I stood and cheered. It's absolutely everything that you hoped it was going to be. I'm so proud to be in it, and I can't wait for you to see it.
So he posted that, right? And he's actually just posted a reaction to Loki episode 5 on social media, and this is it.
I've just seen Loki episode 5, and it's everything you'd hoped it would have been. I cheered, I cried, I fist pumped the air. It's everything, just everything you could have hoped it would have been. I'm so excited for you to see it.
So there you go.
That was fantastic.
That's a little. I just love him so much, and I thought I'll do it. I was doing it. I was filming it before the show, and I was like, I'm going to film this. I know. Like James was saying, don't do it, but I did.
No, it was so good. I love that you fist pumped the air. Fist pumped the air.
I fist pumped the air.
See, and everyone thinks I get excited about stuff. That's great. I love that. Like, I think it's great. I love how excited he was.
I think he. I genuinely think he's incredible, Richard E. Grant. And I was so looking forward to seeing who he played in this series, because it was kept under wraps. Like that did not leak. It didn't leak one bit that he was playing a variant of Loki, and I think it's just perfect. I think the guy. I can't wait, and the fact that it was him as well, that was like at the end in the post-credit scene, that was like, when Loki goes, "Is this hell?" And he's like, "No, but or am I dead? No, not quite, but you will be. You have to come with us." It's very like. So yeah, I think he's got to be one of. Well, I know, and Dan Six says you got to check out the Scottish comedian Limey's impression of Richard E. Grant's reactions. Yes, I know that he does them as well. I'm a big fan of his. And so I got some comments coming in. Moan about Amber Heard in that voice.
Why would you post a picture of your baby on Instagram? It's just no.
And then we got Fatal J in the chat. What's up, fellas? Hello,
What's up?
Fatal J. I hope you're doing very well. Right. So I think what you can tell out of that is we both really liked episode 4, right? And we're really excited for episode 5. I mean, like Richard E. Grant said in that video, I just can't wait for you to see it. And I genuinely think it's going to be the fact that they did a post-credit scene halfway through the show is really cool. I really dig that. a big fan of that. What did you think of it?
I thought it was cool, and I like it. Made me wonder, like, are they doing things like these little Easter eggs with the German name of boastful Thor and the name of the of Sylvie being in the Spanish credits? Is that on
Mm.
purpose? Are they doing these things on purpose for fun? You know what I mean? Like, and also, geez, like it must be about to really get good if they're doing post credit scenes and stuff. You know?
Yeah. I think they are definitely doing this deliberately. I mean, they want people theorizing on things. One thing that happened today actually was Entertainment Tonight were talking to Kevin Feige, and they were trying to get stuff out of him about Spider-Man No Way Home, which we will talk about in a sec. And they're specifically about Alfred Molina basically revealing the fact that he is in the movie. And you can tell in that interview that Kevin Feige was not happy about that. He literally said, there are some people that you put a microphone in their face and they'll talk. And he said, I'm not one of those people. And I was like, wow, what a sick burn.
Yeah.
Alfred Molina's there in the back kind of going, sorry, I'm just really excited. Didn't know it was a secret. It's like, well, it kind of is, man. Yeah. It's like, that's a massive secret that he just kind of revealed in a random interview with somebody.
Tom Holland's the same way. Tom Holland, you just might as well not even tell him anything. Just don't even tell him.
They don't. They don't tell him anything. But I think he's getting better. I think he's getting it. He's got a lot better at it. He's been denying left, right, and center that Andrew Garfield and Tobey Maguire are going to be in the film. I'm pretty sure they are going to be in the movie. I think it's going to be a very brief cameo from both of them. But I mean, the fact that Tobey Maguire is now coming back to acting, it's very suspicious. It's like he's suddenly confirmed to being in the next is it a Damon Chappelle movie? Not Damon Chappelle. What's his name?
I didn't even see anything about that. That's cool.
Oh, what's the name of the director? This is really gonna annoy me. He's the one that did Whiplash. If someone in the comments can let me know. Damon Chazelle. That's it. I got the names mixed up. It wasn't Damon Chappelle. What am I talking about? So yeah, he's going to be in his movie, and he hasn't acted. He hasn't actually been in anything since like 2014. So this is. I honestly think he's definitely going to be in the film, but
I don't think you dust your chops off like that and then just like casually start acting for like I don't think it's a coincidence. I think you're right.
And I'm also pretty sure that this film is going to really, like, the multiverse is going to explode in this movie basically. And I think the thing about Loki is that even though it didn't really say the multiverse is a thing, by introducing so many Loki variants at once, what you've done is the next episode should just be called Loki into the Loki-Verse, which is the title of this video. Little joke we like to make. And do you think that the multiverse is going to play an important factor in Star Wars No Way? Sorry, not Star Wars. In
and all of them.
In all of them. In Spider-Man No Way Home.
Absolutely. I think this is going to affect everything, and they're opening the door. And I think this is their big explanation for joining all the different franchises that they didn't own. And like, okay, now we have Fox stuff. Now we have the, you know what I mean? Now they can pull in the mutants and all that stuff, and they can do all this. They got a special deal with Sony, so they can do everything and have it all linked together, and and blame it on the multiverse. That's the excuse. And somebody's like, yeah, what a cop out. They're blaming, I'm like, yeah, that's what they're gonna do. They need an excuse. That's the excuse. It's not a cop out. That's the appropriate excuse. You know what I mean?
I mean, they literally both do it. Both Marvel and DC are doing the same thing. So DC are doing their multiverse thing as well. They literally call it the multiverse as well. I mean, this kind of Speedfall / multiverse, kind of the same thing in the DC universe. So the next Flash movie is going to do that. The next Spider-Man film, pretty sure that's going to be the one. And then you're going to go on.
I was gonna say, let's not forget Star Trek is talking about like time travel,
Yeah,
weird stuff,
they're all
and then
doing it.
and then you have the world between worlds in Star Wars, where you've got Ezra going and rescuing Ahsoka right before she gets killed from and doing time travel stuff. It's just like every single franchise is doing this right now.
Yeah.
Every nerd franchise, so guys, what like. Let's get some new ideas. Like, what the hell? I
But
mean,
it's
I mean, it's
fun though.
cool.
It's fun. That
It
and,
is
and
fun.
yeah, and like with it makes for me it makes more sense with Marvel because Marvel now they have the rights to everything. So like in their own, in their own sandbox. So and there's still like really well established franchises going on that they've kind of inherited from Fox. So the main one is Deadpool. So how are you going to continue doing Deadpool films and then continue doing MCU films on the side? You got to have some way of connecting them. The only real way they can do that is through the multiverse, and it's not the same with X-Men because I'm pretty sure they'll just reboot X-Men.
Yeah,
But I'm also pretty certain that there will be some point where they will do everything within their power to bring back Hugh Jackman as Wolverine, and then they will do that through through the multiverse. They'll bring him back through the multiverse, and it'll be like an epic event, and it'll be great for the fans. That is definitely in the works. I'm pretty sure Kevin Feige is trying to do everything he can do to get Hugh Jackman to do something for
you
them.
think they'll really do that? You really think that'll happen?
I think I know Hugh Jackman keeps on saying he's done with it, but I think everyone's got their price, and I think he's done small cameos like that before, like in the Fox films, and it would be just nice for the fans, and it would be a nice way to acknowledge those movies as well, and also acknowledge him in the role. I think they'll cast another Wolverine and they'll make him younger, and they'll do all of that. But then they'll bring him in at some point, I'm pretty sure, in some kind of big like Avengers-esque event where like the multiverse is just ripped apart. And I'm pretty sure Doctor Strange, we're going to see a lot of that in Doctor Strange in the Multiverse of Madness. I think that film is probably going to have more crazy multiverse stuff than Spider-Man, because Spider-Man is really a Sony project. It's a Sony thing, and I don't think Marvel would want to give them too much of that and give them too many characters. They basically just said, okay, just bring in the Spider-Man characters that you've used in the past. We'll bring back the old actors. We'll find a way to get them in. There's a thing called the multiverse. Let's do it that way. So we can get Alfred Molina to come back. We can get Jamie Foxx to come back, which is to me a very strange decision.
Yeah,
I'm gonna be honest.
Where's
I do.
Paul Giamatti, man. Where's
Yeah,
Paul?
I mean, I like Jamie Foxx a lot, but his Electro was terrible.
Yeah, it was bad.
It was bad, and it was down to poor direction. But also, is he going to be any better than what he was in that movie, like in this film?
If he still makes the same choices, as far as character, like he's a great actor. Like if he makes those choices that he made to be that guy, the way he played that character was like, yeah, that's a bad choice. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like I think he needs to humanize the guy a little more, make him more of a real person, instead of it was like he was. I don't know, man. It was like a cartoon character of a guy playing a cartoon character.
Yeah,
it was pretty
bad.
crappy for such a great actor. Yeah, it was pretty bad.
I don't think he could be worse. I think that line, "I just want people to see me," was like the worst line. Like they were desperately trying to make him relatable, and like they wanted people to feel for him, but he was just annoying. He was so annoying in that movie, and I think, I mean, I was a bit shocked. Out of all the characters they could have brought back, I was a bit shocked that it was him in that. I mean, I think he's a very good actor, and I think he could give him a second chance. Yeah, great. I was a big fan of Rhys Ifans in the first film as Lizard, and I thought, if they're going to bring back anyone, they should have brought him back because he's just perfect as Dr. Connors as well.
I think like the especially the Garfield era of Spider-Man, it was very campy in a not really good way. Like I don't know, it was like the least realistic of all of them. It just felt campy, and not necessarily like Garfield's portrayal, even though I didn't really care for his portrayal. He's a good actor too. It's just, I don't know, maybe it's the direction in that
Maybe,
movie.
maybe, but
I don't
then,
know.
yeah, I think it was just poor choices from everyone, from him,
Mhm.
from the actors, from the writers, from the director, sorry, from the writers as well. And there, I mean, there's a reason why the Amazing Spider-Man 2 is the last of those movies, because it was just it was genuinely dreadful. And if anyone says otherwise, then you just didn't watch that film properly. It's like, from start to finish, it had a very good scene in it, which was what the character that Emma Stone played. I'm blanking on her name right now.
Penny,
No,
Mary Jane, no,
no, it's the
uh,
other one.
I can't remember.
I can't remember, but the character she plays in it, when her death scene is very, very good.
Yeah, that was good.
Yeah, that was a very good scene. And to be honest, when I first watched it, I remember thinking I really liked the scenes between Andrew Garfield and Emma Stone. I watched the first one again recently, and watching it again, it comes off as being really annoying. Maybe it's because I've just grown up a bit since then, and it just kind of comes off as being very, very kind of breathy and a bit too awkward, lovey-dovey. I much prefer Tom Holland and Zendaya.
Gwen Stacy.
Gwen Stacy, that's her name. Who also ends up being is it Black Cat, the character she plays in the comics? I think that's
Cruella. She ends up being Cruella.
yeah. that's true multiverse, Disney multiverse going on there. I mean, you bring it on.
Yeah.
The killer of puppies.
Don't threaten me with a good time. I'm in.
Can you explain to me how they managed to make a movie about a woman whose sole purpose and sole goal is to murder a bunch of puppies and try and make her likable?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
That's the deal. She's likable when she was young. When she still has people that in her life that love her and support her, she is likable and lovable. But something happens after the Cruella movie that she loses all the people near to her, and she turns into a bitter old bitch. But she still has some of those people in her life, and that's why she's still likable.
Okay, so then that all makes her want to kill puppies. Wow,
Yes.
must have been a really bad thing that happened to her.
Yeah.
I haven't watched it yet. It hasn't come out yet on in France.
Really?
No, not yet. I mean, hopefully, I think it'll be next week, maybe. I'm sorry, I'm being inundated with cats all of a sudden. Got the window open, and my cat's coming, and another cat's coming. I'm like, oh god. All right, fine. They're all come for the live show. Anyway, talking about black cats. Let's have a look at what people are saying in the comments. So yes, Danzig says Black Cat is Felicia Hardy. That's right. I got that wrong. Gwen, I can't remember who Gwen's. Does Gwen Stacy have some superhero alter ego?
I'm gonna tell you right now.
And I'm sorry, you're gonna have to take over the show whilst I get rid of these cats for a second.
No problem. Gwen Stacy is a fictional character who appears in American comic books published by Marvel. Yeah, I don't say anything. So Edward is getting rid of cats right now, and man, I really had a good time watching Loki this week. How are you guys doing out there? You guys having a good one? Yeah. Bad Batch was also good. We're going to get into that in a little bit during the show, and I realized after we got off the air last Friday, I didn't get to talk about last week's Bad Batch, which was the best Bad Batch I'd seen yet. We had Fennec Shand and Cad Bane meet each other and fight it out. I'm like, these two badass bounty hunters duking it out, and we didn't even talk about it on the live stream. What the hell is going on? So, yeah, that got completely overshadowed by last week's Loki. Loki's just kicking ass, man. Kicking ass.
Cats are gone.
The cats are gone. Yeah, that was me taking the reins. I had to discuss that we're going to be talking about Bad Batch briefly, and then last week we didn't even talk about Bad Batch, and it was a kick-ass episode, and I didn't realize till we were off the air. Yeah, and I was like, oh, how do we not talk about that? Was a good one too.
The last episode of Bad Batch was so good. Like I've been a bit kind of iffy on the show, but
Yeah.
like, oh my god, there's so much going on here. You realize what basically I'm forgetting everybody's names tonight. The bounty hunter, the not the is it Cad Bane?
Cad Bane or Fennec Shand?
Fennec Shand, yeah.
Fennec Shand, yeah.
What she's really there for, who she's really working for. And there's just a lot going on with this Omega character that's actually, it's really, really interesting. And I'm going to be honest, I haven't watched today's episode. So you will have to lead the review on that one. But what I'll say about last week's episode was that it was just bloody really good.
It was, man. Them two fighting it out was I lost audio for a second. And I was like, uh-oh. Them two fighting it out was kick ass. And like I thought maybe he was going to show up, and I just love the fact that they're bringing these Clone Wars characters into this. And Cad Bane reminds me of like almost a David Carradine kind of a character. And but he's just super badass. And then Fennec Shand, we know she's awesome. So it was really cool. Cad Bane is so cool because he goes up against Jedis and comes out unscathed. You know what I mean? He's always got an ace in the hole, always makes it out, and has jetpack ankles. It's great. You know what I mean? Like the dude's just cool. Cause snuck into the Jedi temple. Like who does that? Cad Bane does that. So he's cool. And also last week it was cool that I don't have her name anymore. I don't remember her name. But the one Kaminoan cloner scientist is actually the one that hired Fennec Shand to rescue Omega, make sure she's cool. So I thought that's cool. Like she's got a love for Omega or something, and then you got the Prime Minister of Kamino hiring the other. Hiring Cad Bane to go get her, you know, because he needs her for the cloning operation. And you find out that she's a pure first generation clone. She's basically like Boba Fett. And Boba Fett, you know, he was not modified at all. So you need a clone like that so that you can create more clones. And so
do you think this means that Boba Fett's going to turn up in the series?
Hey, could.
Would he have an interest in her at all?
It depends. He could also be resentful and jealous of her and thinking,
maybe,
like, you know what I mean? Like, and thinking, no, I'm the only son, you know, kind of.
Yeah, isn't she technically? So she's technically a direct descendant of Jango Fett. Is that right? Is it so?
Right.
So it's the original DNA that they used for her.
Right. Unmodified, like her and Boba are unmodified. They made her and they made Boba, and that was part of the deal with Django. Django was like, I'll do this, but you aside from whatever they probably paid him, but it's like I want, he didn't have any kids, so he wanted one. He's like, I want just a normal clone for me. That's part of the deal. So he got Boba Fett, and then and they kept her, so I guess so they could clone more.
It's going to be interesting to see where this goes with her. Like, I've always suspected whether she has some sort of abilities. You said that she's just she seems to be just very intuitive, but I do wonder whether she has force abilities, which I find kind of cool.
I don't know, and that goes into the science of the force. You know, like if she's got force abilities, wouldn't Jango Fett have force abilities? Wouldn't
not
she
necessarily?
Or do midi-chlorians just work just random? Is it, you know, it seems like she would have the same midi-chlorian or a strong midi-chlorian count. And this is probably why all the nerds back in the 90s were like, midi-chlorians is bullshit. But yeah.
Well, I think that's also another reason why a lot of people didn't like The Last Jedi, because that was basically saying anyone can use the Force. Like, it's, you know, that it doesn't have to be who you're related to. Mm-hmm. And then they shat all over that idea in Rise of Skywalker, which is an idea that I really liked. And it was like that whole bit with the kid at the end, and you saw him using the Force on the broomstick and stuff. And then they're basically saying that Jedis are witches. Really, that's all they really are. I really really like this show. I think Disney Plus has been, honestly, these shows have been so enjoyable. I actually got to watch the first 2 episodes of Monster at Work as well, which is the new Pixar Monsters Inc. series. It's all right. It's fine. It's fun. It's really for kids. Really, really for kids. Like more so than. I mean, I don't really think The Bad Batch is for children. Actually, to be honest, I think it's actually quite dark.
Did you get to see Black Widow early?
No, they didn't send me that one.
Just curious.
No, that was. I have to go to the cinema to see that. Yeah, the early reactions to Black Widow have been very positive. I've noticed a lot of people saying Florence Pugh's really good in the film, which is good. She's playing a kind of well, how can you describe her character in the movie? She's kind of another Black Widow. Is that the best way to describe her?
Yeah, they what do they call her?
They call each other sister, don't they? But they're not sisters as such. They're just, I think they were just kind of in the same.
The training,
the
training program. There's a name they gave her. It was like I forgot. I forgot what they called her.
I think we should rename this a show to Edward and Clint Forget People's Names.
Yeah. Normally, that was an accidental hit of the bell. Could you hear that?
No.
Okay, good. That's good. Yeah. She pretty much they have the Black Widow program. Her mom has been through it twice. Who is Rachel Weisz? She's been through it twice. They were both in the same training program. I'm pretty sure that the sister's going to end up coming back and being part of the Avengers, carrying the torch for her. Is pretty sure what's going to happen. But
so that'll be another character with a kind of Eastern European accent in the Avengers, because it seems as though Scarlet Witch has kind of gone straight back to that accent, which is fun talking about accents. But no, I think good things ahead as far as Marvel's concerned, really, because they're kicking out the park with Loki. The early reviews for Black Widow are very positive. I think it's got like 84% at the moment on Rotten Tomatoes, which is very good for a comic book film. And people are saying that it's got, it's kind of very different to other Marvel movies before. It's more of a spy thriller type film. It's got an incredible cast. You mentioned Rachel Weisz, Florence Pugh, David Harbour's in there as well, from Stranger Things. So I think it's really interesting. I want to know what they do with Taskmaster. I believe that's his name. The guy with
Taskmaster, yeah.
He's a very interesting character from the comics. He's able to mimic people's fighting style, and I wonder I'm just excited to see what they do with him, how they do it visually, and also hopefully keep him around. I hope he's just
Who knows what's going to happen with him? He might end up on the raft and be in some kind of what was the Red Hulk guys? Man, his team of bad guys.
This is why we need TiVo on the show, because he would know all these names immediately. He's in the chat, so if you could let us know, TiVo, what
yeah, well,
General Ross, isn't it? Yeah.
Taskmaster has the ability to just learn anything and never forget. So anything he immediately on. So as soon as he fights you, he learns your moves. As soon as he can learn how to shoot. He could learn how to do anything. He could shoot like Hawkeye just right away. He learns any skill, and it sticks with him. It's kind of like a photographic memory, but it's for skills. Once he figures something out. So it's pretty cool. He's a pretty cool character.
Yeah.
Dirk, my old co-host on the Black Shirt podcast, he loved Taskmaster, so
I think a lot of people really like that character. And
the Thunderbolts was what I was trying to think of.
Yes, TiVo's in the comments asking what the question was. We worked out in the end, TiVo. It's the Thunderbolts we were trying to think of. They're on that raft for some again. The more I think about the Falcon and the Winter Soldier, the less I like it, because there was a lot of that. Like they get Wakandans to come in, and then what they do is they take forgetting his name now. Daniel Bruhl's character.
Yeah.
What's his name? This is, oh god, this is
You
terrible.
know,
What's his name? Clint, come on. Yeah. They just take him to the raft, and that I'm like, as far as story goes, what was the point of that? Like, surely take him back to Wakanda if you're going to have Wakandans come in. And I'm like, okay, fine, but it's obviously setting up the Thunderbolts. And then Baron Zemo just came to me.
Zemo. Yeah.
There we go. Baron Zemo. And I was kind of like, all right, fine. The more I think about Falcon and Winter Soldier, that I'm just thinking it wasn't very good.
Dude, that show was duct taped together.
It really was.
It was
Yeah.
they had a different storyline. They changed it up and did a bunch of reshoots and duct taped that together. I think they did a good job, considering, if you take into account that they had a completely different storyline and they took footage that they had and then did some reshoots and made a thing out of it. They added voiceover. They did ADR for stuff that had already been shot, and made it seem like somebody was talking off screen to the person. There was a lot of things that they did that was pretty impressive.
Given the constraints they had thanks to COVID, the fact that the original plot was all about a virus, so they were like, well, we can't really do that, so we have to completely change the series. It for me, it did affect it, because in the end I was like, well, it's not a series that I'm ever going to watch again. I'll probably watch Loki again, to be honest. That given how strong it's been so far, to me, I've heard a lot of people talk about Loki and say it's like very good Doctor Who, and I'm like, yeah, I suppose, with like the timekeepers, they're a bit like the Time Lords in that respect. And Loki, I do think Tom Hiddleston would make a very good Doctor Who. I also think that Sophia Di Martino would make a very good Doctor Who as well.
She's great.
Yeah, she's so good, and I think this show just gets better and better with every episode that goes by. And then the whole stuff, going back to Loki, I'm just thinking of all the stuff with Hunter B-15, with her realizing that she's actually used to be be a human being and have an actual life on Earth. I thought that was really impactful, and I was watching a review about it, and they brought up something that I actually hadn't thought about. They were saying that scene where she takes Sylvie back to the apocalyptic event in the shopping center, the shopping mall. They don't show any of her, like they don't do a whole flashback sequence. Literally, all they have to do is just show her acting, and then you kind of just get that feeling, that kind of nostalgia and emotion just from watching her. Yeah. I think she's brilliant. I think she's really good.
I think if it's not there, it's later on. She even's like, it says like, I was happy. Like she was happy.
Yeah,
she got that feeling for a second and realized, like, that's worse than screwing something up and being but like when you were happy and they took that's a violation, you know what I mean? So she goes in there and helps them out once they're in the room with the timekeepers. And I just want to say, the timekeepers, now again, I'm having problems with this 65-inch 4K television that I have in my bedroom. I know this is a first world problem, but the picture is too clear, man. I'm watching Jupiter's Legacy and I'm like, God, this wig sucks. Or like, and I see taped on beards and things. And I'm like, this picture's too clear. And I'm almost thinking about getting a 1080p television because I think the dumbed down resolution is more enjoyable. Maybe.
So what wasn't enjoyable for you in Loki?
What wasn't enjoyable is when they went in there and I'm like, oh shit, it's happening. And you see the glowing eyes.
Yeah.
Okay, this is happening. Now let's see if they actually show their faces. Also, to go along with my trials and tribulations, I have a Vizio sound bar with a sub, so it's like boom. It's like a movie theater in my bedroom.
I feel so bad for you right now.
It's really tough, man. And I'm watching on this giant TV where I gotta like move my head to see all of everything that's going on, and the sound is like vibrating the chair that I'm in. I've got like a theater seat that I'm sitting in, and I'm watching this thing, pretending I'm at the movies, and their voices the voices of these guys, there's so much reverb. I'm like, I couldn't understand what
I
the timekeepers were saying.
I
Did you
couldn't
notice that?
understand I couldn't understand what they were saying. Yeah.
Fortunately, we're living in the future, and on replay, my Roku automatically does the words for me. You know what I mean? So
Yeah.
I get to so I got to read what they had. This been in the '90s, I wouldn't have been able to know. I would have just had to rewound it and you know, on
Yeah.
on my TiVo. Remember back in the old days when you had a DVR, you had man, anyway, it's good to be in the future. But anyway, so I'm being distracted by this. Oh, I got it.
Yeah.
And I'm like, what the hell are they saying? And then I see their face, and I'm like, oh God, the CGI was terrible. It looked like a kid show, like a is this Nickelodeon? Like, what the hell are we watching? And all was forgiven when they cut that thing's head off, and it was a machine. But up until then, I was like, dude. And I'm having to like make concessions because I try to be positive about everything. We know, Clint, you like everything, and I'm like, this is a made for TV. This is not in the theater. This is a TV show, limited budget. But this looks like this looks pretty jank, is what I was saying. And anyway, long story short, as soon as they cut the head off, it was okay because, like, okay, it was a robot. But man, for a second, I couldn't figure out though, was it my TV or was it really cheaply done? And if I was watching on a 1080p television, would I be like, oh, this looks totally legit? Looks like a space lizard to me? Or God damn, what the hell is going on with that? Anyway, it was rough. Sorry, I didn't mean to go off on that.
No, but you are right, especially as far as the sound's concerned. I struggle to understand what they were saying. I think my television isn't like 4K. It's not as high resolution as yours. So I didn't quite notice the bad CGI on the faces. I was just more happy that they were doing something more kind of comic booky with them. But then I was kind of thinking, are they really doing this? And yeah, it turns out they're not really doing that. So I was a bit like, okay, fine. In the end, I was just happy that there's still some sort of mystery going on, and that the TVA, there are still lots of questions that need answering as far as the TVA is concerned, as far as the Loki variants are concerned as well. I think that's going to be really interesting. When I first saw that post-credit scene, I first thought, wow, they're doing some kind of weird, like shitty kind of comic book superhero team up thing with like in like the terrible costumes, especially Richard E. Grant was in a very bad costume.
Were you fist pumping? Yeah.
Yeah. I loved my costume. I fist pumped the air when I saw it. It's amazing. I can't wait for you to see it.
It looked like CW CG. Probably, like bad CW stuff. So, which they're on a budget. So,
well, yeah, compared to the MCU movies, they are on a budget. I think to round out the show, I think we should end with you talking a little bit about a movie that you saw starring the MCU's Chris Pratt.
Oh, I'm not all the way through it.
Just tell us what you think about it so far.
So far, I want to see what's going on. It's paced really weird, and it's weird because it's time travel. There's time travel involved. Basically, long story short,
the Tomorrow War. That's
the Tomorrow War. Yeah. And spoiler alert. I won't give up too much, but basically, it's people in the present. They're watching a soccer game, and all of a sudden, all these this weird portal opens up and a bunch of soldiers come in, and you're like, what's going on? This is Tomorrow War. Is this a bunch of soldiers attacking the present? No, it's not. It's a bunch of soldiers from the future coming back to the present and saying, hey, we need your help. We're basically losing the war against a bunch of aliens, and we're out of people. So we came to get people from now to go fight this war in the future. We need y'all to come help. And basically, if you don't come, and they start drafting people and stuff, and pretty much all your kids are going to die and not make it if you don't do this. So people are going and doing, and there's science involved, and Chris Pratt goes, and there's aliens, and the aliens are pretty scary. It's a lot of cool cool CGI. It didn't look at all like the Timekeepers. It was really cool, and a lot of cars, things blowing up, and it's fun. But there's some weird pacing issues. I'm like, this is the beginning of this. It's a 2.5 hour movie, I think.
Bloody hell.
I think it was, yeah. And I said, this is a weird place to be in this movie.
Yeah.
For how long I've been watching. So what's going to be the twist? What's going to happen? You know what I mean? Like you can tell, like we all know, we all know, like, I always relate everything to music. We all know with a song, you're going to have two choruses and then you're going to have the different part. And then it's going to be one more chorus. The song's over. It's kind of like that with movies. They do a thing, then they get to this weird part of the movie where something has to be resolved, and then you have a resolution. Well, it gets to like, hey, this is too early in the movie to be where we're at, and then and things keep unfolding. And long story short, it's a bunch of shooting. There's some interesting characters and stupid and funny characters in it that talk too much. I feel like it looks big budget with the graphics and stuff, but it could have also been a really like low budget feeling Netflix movie. You know, Netflix movies would be like, it was solid. Had nothing better to do on my day off. You know what I mean? Like, I'll watch that. That's kind of what this feels like. It's supposed to be, but then they decided to spend a little bit more money on the effects. So it
looks better.
It looks and feels better. Explosions and it's great. So yeah, is it award winning? No, it's like a Netflix B movie that had a bunch of money spent on graphics. So
and getting Chris Pratt.
And he produced it too. But you can expect about it's a little bit better than a Netflix B movie. You know what I mean? So and you can expect that. I mean, he's great in it, and there's some little funny one-liners and things that you get because that's what he does. And you get that for some other characters and stuff. So, I mean, it's worth watching, and I'm not done watching it yet. So we'll see what happens. I'll tell you next Friday if the rest of my evening was ruined. I'm like, yeah, I got off the stream, went back, finished the movie. It sucks. Don't even waste your time. My apologies. Or, maybe it'll change my life. Who knows?
Can I give you my opinion of the movie based on what I know of it and the trailer?
And what I just said? Yeah.
And what you just said.
Yeah, go for it.
I think this movie sounds terrible, and and I watched the trailer, and the trailer looked awful. I think the premise is stupid. Like, really, okay, let's think. I know it's a blockbuster, and you're not supposed to think about it too much, but let's really think about the the implications of going back in time to draft a bunch of people to fight a war in the future. You're gonna erase so much. Like, talk about the timeline and the TVA and all that, the sacred timeline. That doesn't make any sense.
And right? I can't without spoiling the movie. I can't even get into where I'm at because there's the potential to erase and
okay, so that does happen,
and relationships, and there's different things in the movie going on right now. Things that I know that I have to go back and watch and see. Does this affect him? He learns things in the future. Then he goes to the future, but they're only in the future for 7 days. That's how long they are, and then they get sucked back into the present. So they got to go, and the ones that make it, some people don't make it. You know what I mean? Some people die. Some of them make it back. So he's got to do this thing, and then and then he gets sucked back. So I know what he learned in the future. I need to see if he goes back and does anything with that in the past when he gets back to the past. Okay. So that's where we're at. So it's interesting. I mean, we'll see. Well, maybe it's interesting. I'll tell you. I'll know in about 20 minutes after I get off the stream. I'll know if it's interesting or not.
And one thing I do think I'm starting to wonder a bit about Chris Pratt. Like, everything I've ever seen him in outside of the MCU is always the same sort of thing. It's either he's in the military, which he is in this movie. Like, he's drafted into a war. Either he's a guy that's trying way too hard to be cool, like he is in the Jurassic World films, or he's a creepy guy on a spaceship, like he is in Passengers, where that movie is one of the creepiest films I've ever seen. The whole time I was watching, I was thinking, the sexual politics in this film are wrong, and I don't like this character, and I think it's written I think it's just a bit messed up, and I get the feeling that the Tomorrow War, because it's on Amazon, isn't it? You can watch it on Amazon Prime right now. I think it was a film that was being made by another studio, and I think they sold it to Amazon. I think so. I think they found it very difficult to market, and with the pandemic and everything, I think the only way they could get it out is if they got it onto Amazon. I think this film has been sent to Amazon kind of to die as well. I don't. The trailers are terrible, like really bad for this film, and it reminds me. The idea reminds me a bit of like Live, Die, Repeat or Edge of Tomorrow, which I think that film is so good. Like I watched it again recently. That film is so good, and I get the feeling that the Tomorrow War. First off, the name is terrible. A bit like Edge of Tomorrow. It's not a good name for a movie. They should have gone with All You Need Is Kill for that film, which was the comic book's original title. I do think Chris Pratt as well is very one note, and that is starting to be more and more evident as his career goes on. I think he'll struggle to. Hopefully, he can do something a bit more interesting. But at the moment, I think he's being a bit. I don't know, a bit kind of safe with his choices, and he's always playing the same sort of character. And I really like him in the Marvel films, but apart from outside of that, I think I just haven't liked him in anything outside of that. Apart from one film that he was in, where he plays another military guy, which was what was the name of the Zero Dark 30 was a film he was in, where he had a small part in that movie, and he was actually very good in it. And that was the first time I actually saw him outside of Parks and Recreation, where it was the first time I saw him play an army guy, and now he seems to just do that all the time.
Well, he when he's in the Guardians movies or on Parks and Rec and stuff, he's playing funny, funny character. But in this, he's just more of an everyday dad. He's a school teacher. He's nothing exciting.
Okay.
He's playing he's a loving dad. I mean, this could have very easily been a Gerard Butler movie, perfectly, easily. It's just a loving dad. They really focus on on the love between the dad and his family and stuff, and then he goes off into the future, and then he comes back, and it's very could easily. So it's that kind of a thing, and it's if he's one note, I mean he's likable in the movie. He's a likable dad, and I like Chris Pratt. In interviews he's great. I saw him on Corden, what's his name?
James Corden.
James Corden. Yeah, I saw him in his show yesterday, and he was hilarious. He was describing the movie while solving a Rubik's Cube, and everything he said in conversation was great. I think a lot of the internet is starting to like to pick on him. I think it's because he's a nice, likable guy, and it's easy to get bored with that guy. Yeah, if you're too cool for too long, then people will turn on you and be like, I liked him back in the old days, but he's not cool anymore. I'm like, Chris Pratt's just a normal dude. Like he's just a normal guy. And that's okay, and I think this is just a very average role of a guy, and he's playing just a normal guy he's a teacher, a science teacher, and when he was younger, he had been in the military and had military experience. And they're basically, I mean, everyone, the convenience store guy is getting drafted. Every single person, they're just taking humans, because only certain humans qualify to be able to jump physically for some reason, and so all these people are getting drafted to go, and he just happens to have a little bit of experience under his belt. So, but one thing I will say that I noticed is that there was another guy who'd been on 3 tours that already jumped forward 3 times, and immediately, you'd think this guy would be the alpha. Like, come on, guys, this is what, the guy's even got a alien claw on his necklace, and real quick, like, they talk to Chris Pratt on his comms, and he's like, yeah, okay, cool, I need you to do this. He's like, Roger, guys, blah blah, come on, guys, we got to do this. This guy fell in line right away and started following and listening to Chris Pratt's orders and stuff. Like it was just really weird. I was like, this guy was supposed to be the tough guys. Like, you guys, this is not a game. These guys, these aliens will tear you apart. He was like the the mad guy that was like, you guys are, you think this is a game, and then once they got over there, he really quickly just became passive.
Yeah,
and I'm like, no, dude, that guy would be like, I'm not listening to you. I've been here 3 times. Let's go. And and it was pretty weird. I noticed that right away, and I go, okay. Other than that, it was like the guy was like, okay, well, you're Chris Pratt, so I have to listen to you. That was my only.
Yeah,
and
the
I'm like,
star of the movie. So.
Yeah, he recognizes that's the star of the movie, so he's gonna back off and let him do his thing. And then I was like, well, Clint, maybe he realizes that guy has done some tours in Iraq, and he could tell that guy knows what he's talking about, and he doesn't need to treat him like an amateur soldier.
Yeah.
But anyway,
I mean, I'm honestly, I don't think I'm gonna watch the movie, just because.
I mean, I know you got a lot of stuff to watch, so but if you need a dumb action movie with things exploding, it's actually fun, and the monsters are actually pretty cool.
There was a film that I watched last year that this kind of reminds me of a bit, but I mean, you were talking about Jared Butler. I've got a real soft spot for Jared Butler. I find his movies hilarious. It was Geostorm was the film that came out. I think it was 2019. Probably came out. It's terrible. It's terrible, but it's kind of fun terrible, and I have time for those sorts of movies. Ones that are just kind of like, it's all right. They're the ones that I feel really annoyed when I watch them. When I like, I think The Old Guard was a bit like that on net. You were talking about Netflix kind of B movie kind of films. I felt like I genuinely wasted my time watching that movie. And I know people might really like that film, but I thought it was just bad. And then.
It never climaxed. It was like it was on the edge of being good, and then it just never. It was never great. You know what I mean?
Yeah, really. There's. I think there's a real problem with some of the especially the Netflix action films. I think they kind of all end up being in that kind of category of like never quite getting going really, or just being really dull. Like I thought Bright was just awful. That I know people like that film, but I thought it was really bad. And then the same kind of thing with what was it? Is it Extraction with Chris Hemsworth? I felt a bit like that. Yeah, same kind of thing. So there are lots of those sorts of films that, especially on Netflix. There's a new one that's come out recently, a horror film that I'm quite looking forward to. Which I'm going through Netflix right now trying to find it, but I think it's probably only on American Netflix because it doesn't seem to be here at the moment. But it was something like Fear Street 1984 Part 1 or some like weird name like that, and apparently it's very good. So that's a film. If I can find it somewhere, I want to watch it.
Did you see the trailer for the Kate Beckinsale action movie?
No. What's she?
I have to send it to you. I can't even remember. She's like some like super badass where she just can just wreck everyone in the room, and it's like she kind of like holds it back. I'll send you. When we get off, I'll send it to you. She kind of holds.
It's called Jolt.
Jolt. There you go. She. What's up, James? She's holding back, and then all of a sudden, then they're like, then it's somewhere in the trailer they're like, "Don't hold it back. Go with it." And then next thing you know, she's just kicking everyone's ass. You know what I mean? Before it's like she had it's like she had a temper problem. She would accidentally knock someone's teeth out every once in a while. But then once you just let the jolt go, you can destroy everyone. And she just takes out entire nightclubs full of bad and dude,
the Jolt.
Yeah. It looks like, I don't know, man. I love her. Like she's one of my favorites.
She's incredible.
She's the best. And I loved Underworld. I've watched. It doesn't matter how bad they get. I'm going to see it Underworld if it's coming out. And
that's the thing with Underworld. It's like it's not so bad. It's good, but it's just really it's bad, but also really fun. So
like Resident Evil. I know exactly what you mean.
Yeah, exactly.
I was expecting you to say no, not Resident Evil.
No, I find like some of the Resident Evil movies, I actually find they're like I used to like really get hyped for them when I was young, And now you can tell James has joined the live stream.
Yes.
But I used to watch that. Like for me, I used to go to my local like the French version of Blockbuster, and I used to I used to get those DVDs, like the Resident Evil films, the Cube movies were the other ones that I used to get really excited to watch, the Saw films as well, and then some like really awful like Steven Seagal action films.
Yeah.
And I used to just watch them on repeat. I loved them, and Resident Evil. I have a soft spot for those films. I have a weird kind of soft spot for Paul W.S. Anderson. Like, I think Event Horizon is one of the most bonkers films ever made, but I really love it, and I know that it's crap, but I adore that movie, and I'll watch it again and again and again and still be kind of freaked out by it. I think
sometimes crap is worth. I mean, like the war tomorrow, man. Sometimes you need a little crap in your life, you know.
You need a little crap. And if you're looking for some crap, then yeah, maybe go and watch that. Which apparently Dan Zig has revealed that Amazon paid $200 million to Paramount to acquire the Tomorrow War. Wow. Well, you might as well put $200 million in the bin and burn it. I mean, come on,
dude. I'm
Paramount.
telling you, it looks good. I mean, I think people. It's if you like fun and explosions. It's like if you like Transformers.
Oh well, no, I'm out then.
I mean, people go to watch Transformers, and it's like I grew up with Transformers, but it's just a bunch of shiny explosions. You know what I mean? And it's like I'm gonna go because of my fondness for Transformers, but it's like it's not always the best movie.
No,
you know,
that's apart from the first one, they're all terrible.
Yeah,
those Transformers films. So I think we've about covered all the areas that we wanted to cover this evening. Apart from, what do you think of Zendaya and Tom Holland being together?
I think I saw a meme, or it was a Twitter post or somebody. They're like, "Hey, we need to get some attention off of the Lego costume leaks," and they're like, "Hold my beer, I got you." You know what I mean? Like, yeah, we got you covered.
Who was that? I think it was someone quite famous. That
I don't know who said that, but it was pretty. It might have been. It might have been Tom Holland. You know what I mean? Who knows? But I saw it. I saw that online somewhere. But yeah, good for them. Good for them. You know.
I think they're just practicing a scene.
That's cool.
In the car, you know, they're like, they got a scene that they got to do, a romantic scene. They're like, let's practice. Practice.
You get to spend a lot of time with somebody, and you know, you're gonna get feelings. And also, you live in that's what happens with all these star couples that like work on movies and they have romances. It's like they already live in a bubble. So it's like you got either people that work for you or people that it's a professional situation. It's not cool, and you're in a bubble, especially during a pandemic. So if it's somebody you hang out with, you enjoy, and you start communicating, you spend all your time with, you work with them. I mean, why not? Go for it.
Yeah. Yeah, I think you're right, and I mean, I think it's quite nice that we've got yet another couple playing Peter Parker and MJ. It seems to happen quite a lot.
Yeah.
So yeah, again, will it last? Who knows? And why are we talking about it? Who knows?
I know you give Amazon a lot of flack, Edward, but
yes.
Bosch is top-notch production quality, and Bosch is amazing.
Oh man!
And I wanted to ask you. Last week you were talking about Hobbs and Shaw and how it switched to night in like the next scene, and you said it made a garbage movie.
Yeah, did you watch it?
No, but let me ask you. You like the John Wick films, right?
Yes, I do.
Okay, so at the end of John Wick 2 and the beginning of John Wick 3, at the end of John Wick 2, it's in the middle of the day, and then at the end of John Wick 3, it's nighttime and it's raining. And there's only a 15-minute period. And his scar on his forehead went away.
I did not think about that one bit when I started watching John Wick 3, because I didn't watch John Wick 2 like right before it. I watched it quite a while before, so it didn't really.
There is a logical explanation for that. When I think it was like 4:59, when the hour was almost up before he got hunted, and then. What's so funny?
I don't know. I just like you've done all this research.
5:06 p.m. is when sunset, so that would have been January 11th of that year.
Oh my God, James, is that what you've been doing?
Yes. I've been sitting in my basement where it's cool and just researching sunsets and movies.
Oh
I-
man,
I
that
thought
needs
for-
to be.
I
Go
thought
on.
I thought for sure he was gonna be like, he was gonna be like, yeah, it was 4:59, and then and he was gonna cut himself
Yeah,
off.
I
I
know,
was just
he-
waiting for him to do that.
You wanted to finish that point, didn't you, James?
Yeah.
I had to. But
Yeah.
Bosch is fantastic. And there's some other good Amazon movies, original movies that have come out. And it's not all crap. But they want their big blockbusters. They're just a new studio trying out the Hollywood system and streaming too. And I think putting the Tomorrow War right on streaming and in theaters is in theaters, right?
No, I think it's just
I
at
think
home.
it's just streaming.
Well, I think that was a smart move. I think it's going to be all right. It's going to do well. I don't think it looks good. I mean, I had a choice to watch that, but I didn't watch it. So I am looking forward to the Bosch miniseries on IMDb TV. That's going to be interesting that Amazon is using. And I don't think that's going to do well. Like, who's going to watch stuff on IMDb TV?
Yeah, that's a weird place to put it.
Yeah. But I'm excited about that because it continues the adventures of Bosch and Maddie and Honey Chandler. And that's going to be really good because I don't know if you watched Bosch, but at the end of it, they're going to go into.
I knew that was gonna happen. Yeah, dude, if it looks good, the movie looks good. The War Tomorrow, it looks good. I'll tell you how it resolves, but I mean, it looks good, and it's like a Gerard Butler movie.
Oh no, not that one.
It really is. I'm gonna have to go watch what is it?
Geostorm,
and I'll tell you how it rates next to Geostorm.
Let me ask you, with the Gerard Butler films, Clint, where do you start? Like, wasn't it Channing Tatum that did the first one?
I start at the beginning.
Yeah. Okay.
Wait, what do you mean? Oh, wait, no. What are you doing?
The Olympus Has Fallen in movie stuff. Didn't Channing Tatum start that franchise with Jamie Foxx?
No. He did a film called White House Down, and it came out exactly the same year as Olympus Has Fallen.
Oh, it was like
They
an
both
Armageddon kind of Deep Impact
situation.
Yeah. Armageddon, the Abyss.
Yeah. Then there's there's Olympus Has Fallen, then London Has Fallen, then Angel Has Fallen, then
Sparta has fallen.
Sparta has fallen. Gerard Butler has fallen. That's literally just a video of him falling down. And going, I gotta save. This is my American accent. I gotta save the president of America. Really? All right, Jared. And remember, there's one of those films where they suddenly blame him. They're like, "Oh, you're the one that's behind everything." It's like, dude, have you not watched the last 3 films? This character is a hero, and then all of a sudden you're like, Gerard Butler is the evil villain. It's like, and then he's like, I gotta save her. Like, I can't even remember what he says. He's just going around going, I gotta clear my name. He's not saying that in the film. And I remember I watched those movies and I severely regret it.
Yeah,
those films are terrible.
Didn't you watch Clear and Present Danger? Clint Eastwood is a hero. He's a hero. How dare you, sir? Yeah.
But I've got a lot of time for him, to be honest. I think he seems like quite a fun guy as well, which is important to me.
Gerard Butler was amazing rock and roller.
Yes,
he's badass. I like him.
Yeah, he's good. Yeah, he is good. I wonder what he's doing next.
Have you guys seen Lupin?
Independence Day 7. That's what he's doing next.
And yes, I have seen Lupin.
Yeah, I don't have the pronunciation quite of my text. I thought it was just Lupin.
Lupin.
Lupin. Have you guys seen Lupin? Hey man, have you guys seen Lupin? Man, that's yeah. Lupin. Lupin. Yeah, I haven't seen Lupin, but it's no, I I've seen like the first 4 episodes of that show, and it's actually really good.
It's so good.
I'm really enjoying that show a lot.
It's so good.
Did you watch it in French or in English?
French. Well, yeah, French.
I watched it with the overdubs. The overdubs are done really well.
Yeah, that's fine. That's absolutely fine. I watch anime dubbed, so I know a lot of people might say that that's sacrilegious, but I don't care.
I watch everything with subtitles, and But I try not to watch anything dubbed. And Lupin, I was gonna start watching, but it was dubbed. I'm like, no, I gotta try and configure this for.
Let's do the reenactment of James doing it. I watch everything with. No, I never watch anything dubbed. I always watch the things with the subtitles. You know, it's how it's supposed to be.
Well, it takes you out of the moment.
I just never learned to read, so I have to listen. I have
James,
to watch.
what have you done?
Call it, Sanchez, or you'll get a knuckle supper.
Yeah, it was interesting. I listened to an interview. I don't remember who. They was somebody at Netflix, but they really went out of their way to do like high quality overdubs on everything. They've really gone out of their way to just really increase their audience to just a total global world audience. And so all of the new stuff, they don't just, it's not just stupid like kung fu movies.
Well, that's the thing.
You know
I think it comes from watching Hong Kong cinema. I can't watch it dubbed. It just takes you right out of the moment. And that explains why Netflix doesn't have a budget for beards. They put it all under the dubbing.
all on overdubs. So I mean, it's brilliant though. Their global audience it's crazy. They've what's that movie where they go into the cave and there's a time portal? Not in the movie.
Oh.
It's a series. It's European series. I think it's
Dark.
Dark. Yeah, that show.
That is so good. That show.
It's a fantastic show with the English overdubs. Like you can't even tell sometimes. And it's the same with Lupin.
What about Hercules in New York, where they dubbed Arnie Schwarzenegger?
No, that one you could tell.
you know that whenever Arnold Schwarzenegger is dubbed into German, he doesn't dub himself because his Austrian accent is so pronounced. The German audiences they're like, no, won't work, because apparently he said he sounds like he comes from quite a rural part of Austria, and they're like, it just sounds too rural. It's like like if you're UK based, it's as if you have like a very famous actor that's English, but I don't know, for some reason is in France, and when he speaks English, he sounds like a farmer, so he goes around like that, you know. It's like, it just doesn't sound right. And I suppose the equivalent, I don't know what the equivalent would be in America. Probably.
I can tell you right now. Let's read.
Oh yeah, I did from Fargo. Oh yeah.
That's like I'm having to read this canon.
That's more Canadian.
Oh yeah, it's more Canadian.
Some people are
sorry.
Some people are impossible to please. As soon as they get what they thought they wanted, they may always want more. Then be like, some people are impossible to please. As soon as they get what they want, they thought they wanted much more. They don't need some redneck going up there, ding dang dong. You know what I'm saying, man? Like that's what they don't want. They want someone who is going to be articulate.
Exactly.
You can actually find Hercules in New York on YouTube, and it actually has Arnie's original voice. Found it last week.
So his German,
Really?
It's almost unintelligible because it's his first film, right?
Yeah. But I mean, there's a lot of that. I think if you guys are struggling to watch anything, I would really, really highly recommend Lupin, or Lupus, as people like to call it.
I'd recommend Bosch.
Lupin.
Bosch. You do recommend Bosch. What else have I watched? I just finished Kim's Convenience. Season 5 was not good, but that's.
I thought you were going to say Burn Notice.
But I'm still watching Burn Notice. I kind of stopped because it got a bit boring, to be honest.
The same show over and over.
It's the same thing. It's like, who's the client this week?
If you need another one, Nikita is just like Burn Notice. It's the same show over and over again. So you can just watch it as you're going to bed. And if you fall asleep, it doesn't matter. You didn't miss anything because you've already seen the episode. Fringe was another show that I really loved.
Fringe was so good.
Yeah, I stopped around season 4 though.
Yeah, it got bad after that.
Yeah.
Like last few seasons weren't very good.
It gets better. It has some lulls in it, but it's like I really love that show because they finished the show out. It had a solid ending, and it was just solid. You know, you fell in love with the characters, and it was cool. Like unlike Kim's Convenience, which is just stopped. You know what I mean?
Yeah. And
Leone films have weird dub bits, but it's Leone, so yeah. But that doesn't count because everything's dubbed. It was all shot silent.
Yeah, and the Leone films, they're basically, most of the actors in that are Italian,
Yeah.
So they couldn't speak English, so they had to dub them. That happened a lot in Italy. Like Italian cinema's full of that. Like a lot of films were filmed in Italy with Italian actors and then dubbed into English afterwards for Hollywood audiences, but it was actually made for Hollywood.
Yeah, it's like Sabata with Yul Brynner.
Yeah, it happens all the time.
It's all the spaghetti westerns.
Yeah, and if we've found anything out, that like especially with the Disney Plus shows, it's very important to look at who does the dubbing, because that's where everything is revealed.
Yeah. But did you know in Bosch they actually used the LAPD police station? They shot after the shift. Yeah, so that's
James,
the actual one they use.
Should we do another show for you, just like the Bosch show or something?
The Bosch show, the Titus Welliver show.
Right. What else do we? I suppose we've kind of explored all avenues tonight. What I wanted to do to end the show, I wanted, because James, you're on the show. Basically, Richard E. Grant released his, and James is gone, but I'm going to end with this. Richard E. Grant has released his reaction to Loki episode 5, so I think you should watch it.
I've just seen Loki episode 5, and it's everything you'd hoped it would have been. I cheered, I cried, I fist pumped the air. It's everything, just everything you could have hoped it would have been. I'm so excited for you to see it. Just seen Star Wars, The Rise of Skywalker, and nothing prepares you for this. I cheered, I shouted, I fist pumped the air, I cried, I stood and cheered. It's absolutely everything that you hoped it was going to be. I'm so proud to be in it, and I can't wait for you to see it.
There you have it.
I'm like getting the feeling of coming in the gym. I'm getting the feeling of coming at home. I'm getting the feeling of coming backstage when I pump up.
There we go. And I think we can end the show on that.
You're gonna get copyrighted strike for that.
No, I'm not. What is that's just sent to me by Richard E. Grant.
Is it the wows?
Oh no!
The wows.
Wow, is he getting it in there? Wow. I'm here in the multiverse saying, wow. Okay.
Wow. I got this sweet mustache. Wow.
It looks really weird.
Edward, what's going on, man? Wow. Wow. Why is this happening, man? Another show I'm watching on Netflix is Manifest. That's really good too. Wow. 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 Where's my jet ski? Wow. Wow.
I laughed. I cried. I fist pumped the air.
Where's my freaking jet ski?
I'm Loki.
Where's my freaking jet ski, man? I want my jet ski.
That's too aggressive for him. He'd be way more.
Do the Edward Clint before you sign off.
Clint, do your Edward voice.
Indeed, Clint. Today.
No, you don't have the graphic?
I do, Clint. I have to find it.
That's okay.
This is Loki into the Loki-Verse. It's bananas. And for some reason, we still have 11 people watching.
Wow.
We've ended the show about 5 times. See, it's like business, business as usual when it's just me and Clint. Then James comes in and just creates all havoc. Makes Clint go,
yeah.
Clint, you haven't got it, have you?
I'm working on it.
Well, I suppose.
And I waited for this. I waited.
Hamada burger. Hamada.
And you wonder why you waited so long for something so disappointing.
See, he wasn't involved to begin with, and now he's getting it. Now he's getting it all in, right at the end.
Пошли. Все вместе. Какие ваши доказательства? Кокаином.
It's Clint.
Oh, there it is.
You need to figure out your file management system. There you go. Dear God.
Hello, Clint. Welcome to another episode of Small Screen. I'm not Clint. It's brilliant. Hello, I'm Edward Lauder. Cheerio.
Do the side off. Tell where they can follow you, Edward.
You can find me. You can find. You can. No, he's Australian. You can find me at edwardlauder.com. Indeed.
I don't own edwardlauder.com.
I'm not Edward Lauder. It's brilliant. I don't know, Clint. Cool. See you later.
God. And then James pisses off. He
It's
creates
one of
havoc.
the two Clints, the two Edwards.
That was great.
We actually gained a viewer out of that. Oh dear. Oh God. Okay. So yeah, where you can find Clint pretending to be Edward Lauder at the OG Clint Baker.
You can find me at James's house.
There we go.
There we go.
Yeah.
That looks scarily accurate as well.
Yeah. I don't do overdubs.
Yeah. Yeah, Small Screen Co. everywhere. Clint, Patreon, patreon.com/Small Screen Co. Thank you to Bobby Anderson, Danzig79, the Sax God, Sean Harrigan, and James. Yeah, Small Screen Co. EJ Lauder, all that. You know where to go. Let's end the show. I'm gonna die. Whenever you pretend to be me, we always say absolutely brilliant. I don't remember ever saying that in my life.
All the time.
I always think I say it's rubbish. Everything's rubbish.
It's rubbish. It's rubbish, Clint. I've got to take Loki out for a walk.
That's James taking Mando out for you. Captain Clint of All right.
All right.
Cheers.
Cheers.
Bye.
Bye.